Moscow, Idaho, a quiet college town where the most exciting thing happening on a Saturday night is a house party or a late-night food run. Crime? Barely a thing. People leave their doors unlocked. But on November 13th, 2022, that illusion shatters forever. 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, are found lifeless in their own home. No suspects, no forced entry, no clear motive. And the way it happens? Pure nightmare fuel. Police arrive to a scene so overwhelming, some officers physically have to step outside. The house, 3 stories, 6 roommates, 4 victims, 2 survivors. And the most unbelievable part? It takes them 8 hours to call 911. Nobody knows what happened inside that house between 4 a.m. and noon, but what cops do know? The killer didn't just sneak in and out unnoticed. He was watching. He planned this, and he wanted them to know he was there. For weeks, the case goes nowhere. The crime scene is a mess. The police have 0 suspects, and then they make a huge mistake, telling the public there's no ongoing threat, no suspect, no leads. But somehow, nobody else is in danger. People lose their minds, students start skipping town, parents pull their kids out of school, professors cancel classes because nobody knows if the killer is still out there or if he's already watching his next target. And while the police struggle to find answers, the internet explodes with theories. Everyone from ex-boyfriends to random students to even the surviving roommates are accused. TikTok detectives, Reddit conspiracies, YouTube psychics, the entire case turns into a circus. But then, cops get their first real break. Security footage from a gas station near the crime scene picks up a white Hyundai Elantra. The car was spotted circling the area multiple times before disappearing into the night. Problem? There are over 22,000 Hyundai Elantras registered in the U.S., so cops start narrowing it down. They track cell phone pings from towers near the house. They pull DNA from the scene. And then, a match. A 28-year-old criminology Ph.D. student at Washington State University, just a short drive from Moscow. His name? Bryan Kohberger. And when they look into his background, that's when things get really disturbing. Real quick, if you like this story so far, go ahead and like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next on Talescape. All right, back to it. Bryan Kohberger isn't some random guy who just snapped one night. This was planned. Before the murders, he was living just 10 miles away in Pullman, Washington, where he was working on a Ph.D. in criminology at Washington State University. Not just studying crime, obsessed with it. People who knew him said he was intense. Awkward, always watching people. Some classmates thought he was brilliant. Others creeped out by him. But the weirdest part? Months before the murders, Bryan posts in an online research forum, asking criminals to describe their thoughts and emotions before, during, and after committing a crime. Like he's trying to understand what it feels like to take someone's life. And in the months leading up to November, his behavior gets even more suspicious. Cops find surveillance footage from August 2022, 3 months before the attack. Bryan's already stalking the house. His phone pings near the victim's home 12 different times before the murders. Always late at night, always circling. He's not just watching, he's studying the way the house is set up, the cars in the driveway, the people inside. He knows their routines. And then, on November 13th, just before 4 a.m., he goes inside. What happens next lasts less than 20 minutes. No one screams, no one fights back. And by the time Bryan slips out the sliding glass door, the entire house is silent. Then he drives away, but not home. Instead, he takes a weird, winding route, looping through rural roads before finally heading back to Pullman, as if he's trying to shake off a tale that doesn't exist. And when he walks into his apartment, he acts like nothing happened, like it was just another night. By mid-morning, cops and first responders are swarming the crime scene. Bryan, sitting in class, listening to a lecture about forensic evidence. For weeks, he goes about his life like normal. He keeps showing up to class, grading papers, making small talk with professors, like he's not the most wanted man in Idaho. But what he doesn't know? Cops are closing in. They've got the Hyundai Elantra on camera. They've got his phone data placing him near the house 12 different times before the murders. And then, They get the biggest break yet, a piece of DNA left behind at the crime scene. A knife sheath, the kind that holds a military-style combat knife, was found on one of the beds, and on the button snap, a single male DNA sample. At first, no match comes up in the system, but detectives do something smart. They run the DNA through public genealogy databases, and guess what? It leads them straight to Bryan Kohberger's family. Now they just need to confirm it's him. So detectives start watching him. They follow him to a grocery store where he throws out some trash. Cops grab it, test it against the DNA from the crime scene, and it's a match. At this point, they know they've got their guy, and by the end of December, it's time to take him down. By December 30th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger is thousands of miles away from Idaho at his parents' house in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. After the murders, he drove across the country with his dad in the white Hyundai Elantra, the same car spotted near the crime scene. Cops have been tracking his every move, waiting for the right moment. And just before 2 a.m., a SWAT team storms the house. Bryan is found in his bedroom wearing latex gloves, digging through his own trash, as if he's still trying to hide his DNA. Cops take him into custody on 4 counts of first-degree murder. And his reaction? Cold, expressionless. Like he knew this was coming, but when he's asked one question, "Do you know why you're being arrested?" he doesn't answer. Instead, he asks if anyone else has been taken into custody. And for detectives, that one sentence raises a terrifying possibility. Was he working alone, or is there someone else out there? Once news breaks, the internet explodes. A criminology student, someone who studied crime, who sat through lectures on how to commit the perfect crime and not get caught, is now the prime suspect in a quadruple murder. His former professors and classmates, shocked. Some say he was awkward, intense, obsessed with serial killers. Others say he was smart, but arrogant, always trying to prove he was the smartest guy in the room. Some students even claim that after the murders, Bryan started acting different, more confident, more talkative, almost like he was enjoying the chaos he created. The trial is set, and the case against him, brutal. Prosecutors have the white Hyundai Elantra on camera near the house at the time of the murders, his cell phone records placing him near the house 12 different times before the attack, DNA from the knife sheath directly linking him to the crime scene, and then a selfie surfaces, taken by Bryan just hours after the murders. In the photo, he's staring at the camera. No expression, just blank, empty eyes. For the victims' families, that photo is disgusting. For the prosecution, it's proof that Bryan Kohberger wasn't just committing a crime, he was living in the aftermath of it. And as of 2025, Bryan Kohberger is still waiting for trial. He's pleaded not guilty, his defense team is trying to suppress evidence, and his lawyers are even hinting at an insanity defense. But the question still remains, if this was his first time taking a life, why was he so good at it? That's the story. Now I want to hear what you think. Drop a comment below, let's talk about it. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.